Houston, we think we're done with RMS checkout.
We agree, that looks great.
Hey Stan, we're still playing this tape over in the DSR-25. I assume we can stop this thing now. I'm not sure why the camera only turned on. It seems like about halfway through ascent. We didn't do anything, I think, to cause it to come on.
Copy, we're scratching our heads about that too, but thanks for downlinking what you had.
Houston, RMS power down is in work, step 1.
Copy.
Hey Houston for RMS.
Go ahead.
Hey, we think we're all done with today's activities. We have the B illuminators on. Is there any other illuminators you would like us to turn on, or would you like us to turn the B illuminators off?
Checking.
Also, while you're thinking about it, we also have the video for the RMS end effector checkout. If you have any KU-TON, and if anyone is interested, we can send that down as well.
They're checking on that too. Atlantis, for illuminators, we have no constraints on the illuminators. You can turn them all off if you like. And for the video, we think we can take that. We have no requirement for it soon, but if you'd like to send it to us, we'll be happy to watch it.
Okay, yeah, we'll put it in there and push play if you just tell us when to push play. We're going to start working on pre-sleep. I think there was a prospect of maybe climbing into bed a little bit earlier. We may try to shoot for that. I don't know if we'll get there, but we're going to start working pre-sleep.
Okay, we'll be checking to make sure we've got everything done today, and we'll let you know when you can hit play. And Atlantis, for end effector video, you can hit play.
Okay, you beat me there. I'll be with you in a second. And Houston, Lance, we have a new card in the KFX machine if you want to look at it.
Copy, we'll take a look.
Houston, Lance, for mid-deck status check.
Go ahead, Sandy.
Okay, I have it all here. I'll start with the CGBA.
We're ready.
Okay, and so what I have here are two cue cards. One's called CGBA unit number 1 and one's called CGBA unit number 2. And I looked on the CGBAs themselves and I couldn't really discern which one was supposed to be 1 and which one is supposed to be 2. So I kind of arbitrarily named them and put the locker location on the cue card so you'll always get a consistent call, although I think you'll be able to tell by the temperatures. But CGBA number 1, we're going to call the one that's in MF71 Echo. And CGBA Unit 2, we're going to call the one that's in MA16 Delta.
Copy.
Okay, for CGBA Unit number 1, checked at an MET of 703, the temperature was 8. For CGBA Unit number 2, which was checked at 702, its temperature was 4, and all looks nominal.
Copy all.
Okay, for the STL, the MET there was 705. Rail 1 was 37.1. Rail 2 was 37.0. Rail 3 was 37.0. And rail 4 was 36.9.
Copy.
Okay, for the AEMs, those are called out Unit 1, 2, and 3 on the mid-deck stowage plan, so I used that nomenclature. If you want to know what locker configurations, I wrote those on the cue cards and I can call those down. But for Unit number 1, checked at GMT 2235. The water levels left and right were both 1, and everything else looked nominal and okay.
Copy.
Unit number 2 at 2240 GMT, the water level there was also 1 and 1, and everything looked pretty good there as well. Lots of activity.
Copy.
And finally, for unit number 3, checked at 2300 GMT, water level also 1 and 1, and all nominal looking good.
Copy all, Sandy. Thanks.
Houston for pre-sleep.
Go ahead.
Hey, Stan, if Eagles would back us up, or Econ would back us up, we don't think we had a LIO change tonight, if we just confirm that, and we can take a nighttime cryo heater config whenever.
Okay, Fergie, you are correct. There is no LIO change out tonight, and pre-sleep cryo is on A11 and R1. Let me know when someone's at the panel.
Okay, we got someone in both places. Go ahead for A11 first.
Okay, A11, cryo, tank 4, heaters, O2, H2, Alpha, and Bravo. That's 4 switches to off OFF.
Okay, cryo, O2, tank 4, and H2, tank 4, 4 switches to off OFF.
Good copy.
Ready for R2, R1, R2.
R1, it's O2, H2, tank 2, heaters, Alpha, and Bravo. 4 switches to off OFF.
Okay, those 8 switches have been moved.
And on R1, O2, H2, manifold, valve, tank 1. 2 switches to closed, talkback closed.
Okay, O2 and H2, manifold valve, tank 1, 2 switches to close, talkback close.
And Fergie, we see a good cryo config, and I was actually supposed to hold that hostage until you gave us a window report.
Yeah, Stan, you were kind of cut out by a cryo alarm there. Could you repeat that? Sorry.
Oh, Fergie, I was making a joke. We're still happy to take your window report when you're ready to send it down.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. They look fantastic. No, nothing out of the ordinary.
Copy. Good news. Thank you.
When we get there, you go for airlog resets?
We are ready for airlog resets when you get there.
Hey, you want us to leave MMU2 powered up?
And Fergie, we're ready for you to power off MMU2.
Copy. Can you say anything else for us before we bring down the CRTs?
Checking. And Fergie, we pulled the room, and we got nothing further for you tonight, unless you want to give us a new card in the KFX. We're done with the one that's there. Other than that, it's been a pleasure working with you today, and we wish you a good night's rest and a successful day tomorrow.
Hey, thanks, Dan. We'll double check, make sure we got nothing else to go in the KFX machine, and yeah, we look forward to working with you guys tomorrow as we do for the rest of the mission. It was great working with you this evening. We'll see you tomorrow.
And Houston, are you finished with the card in the KFX? Can I swap a new card in there?
Go ahead and swap cards.
Copy, will do.
This is Kennedy Launch Control. We've just passed the 3-minute, 30-second mark in the count. The terminal sequencer has been armed, and we are go. Launch Operations Manager Paul Donnelly just wished the crew good luck and Godspeed and received an expression of thanks from all 3 crew members. We'll be coming up shortly on the automatic sequence. 3 minutes, 10 seconds. Firing command enable. Firing command on. We have the firing command. We're now on the automatic sequence. And the tanks in the 3 stages of the Saturn V that contain those propellants will begin to pressurize. The countdown is still proceeding, and we're at now 2 minutes, 50 seconds and counting. We understand there's an estimate that there are more than 1 million people in the area here to view the launch. The traffic has been heavy since 2 o'clock this morning. The beaches are packed and the roads are packed. 2 minutes, 35 seconds and counting. We're monitoring our status board here in firing room 1. Our ready lights are on, concerned with spacecraft, emergency detection system, instrument unit. Our preparations are complete, and the automatic sequence is continuing. 2 minutes, 20 seconds and counting. We now have second stage liquid oxygen and third stage liquid oxygen supplies pressurized as the countdown continues. Coming up in the 2-minute mark, we'll be standing by for the cue ball cover to be retracted shortly atop the Saturn V vehicle. Mark, T minutes, 2 minutes, T minus 2 minutes and counting, still going well. Propellant stable on board the vehicle. The crew here in the firing room monitoring more than 300 red line values, watching temperatures and pressures to ensure they do not go above nominal. In the case that it did, any one of these key people could call in to hold the countdown. 1 minute, 36 seconds and counting, still going well. The pressurization sequence is still continuing in the vehicle. We're now 90 seconds away from liftoff, all still going well. We'll go on internal power with the vehicle at the 50-second mark in the count. We now get indications from our status board that all is still going well, and the third stage is now completely pressurized. Coming up shortly on the 1-minute mark, we're now 70 seconds and counting. Second stage tanks are pressurized as our countdown continues. Mark, T-minus 60 seconds and counting on Apollo 15. The astronauts are go, launch vehicle and spacecraft components all go as our countdown proceeds. Now 50 seconds, we have the power transfer. The vehicle now on the battery power in the vehicle, and all is still going well. Lunar Module pilot Jim Irwin making some final checks, now passing the 40-second mark. Spacecraft Commander Dave Scott now has made his final check. That is aligning the guidance system. 30 seconds and counting. The guidance system will go internal at the 17-second mark. Now 25 seconds. We have complete clearance to launch. We are go. 20. 15 seconds. Guidance internal. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Ignition sequence start. Engines armed. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engines running. Launch commit. Liftoff. We have liftoff at 9:34 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The tower is clear.
And we have a roll program.
Roger. You have good thrust on all 5 engines.
Thanks, Gordo. Rolls complete.
Roger.
And we have a pitch program.
Roger, pitch. Stand by for mode 1 Bravo. Mark 1 Bravo.
Roger, 1 Bravo.
Booster Systems engineer reports to flight director that S1C stage looking good.
Houston, everything looks perfect down here.
Okay, looks smooth up here, Gordo.
Going through maximum dynamic pressure at this time. Nine miles downrange, 14.5 miles height.
Charlie. Mark 1 Charlie now.
Roger, 1 Charlie.
Each of the S1Cs.
Roger.
Each of the 5 S1C engines gulping 3 tons of fuel per second.
Inboard.
Roger, inboard.
Flight Dynamics reports go for staging.
Good stage.
Roger. Houston, you have good thrust on the S2. All 5 are good.
Okay.
.73 miles downrange, 47.9 altitude.
737.
Roger.
Fire jet.
Roger, we confirm the skirt SEP. You're mode 2.
Roger, mode 2. Guidance initiated.
Roger.
Coming up on 10,000 feet per second mark, downrange 131, altitude 66.
Houston at 4, the guidance has converged. The CMC is go, everything looks good.
Okay, Gordo, looks good up here.
Now at 35% of the velocity needed to orbit. Downrange 190 miles, altitude 79.
Houston, 5 minutes. Everything looks nominal. Your go.
Okay, Gordo, thank you. Looks good up here.
40% of velocity needed.
Roger.
Downrange 271, altitude 88.
Predicting nominal shutdown on the S2 stage.
Houston, times are nominal. Level sense arm will be 8 plus 3, 4, and S2 cutoff at 9er plus 0, 9er. Over.
Roger, 8 plus 3, 4, and 9 plus 0, 9.
And stand by for S4B to COI. Mark, you have S4B to COI now.
Roger, S4B to COI.
.380 miles downrange, altitude 94.5. Velocity 15,000 feet per second.
Stand by for S4B to orbit capability. Mark, you have it now.
Roger, S4B to orbit.
Downrange 479, altitude 96. Now approaching 65% of velocity needed for orbit. Velocity now 16,700 feet per second. Official time of liftoff 34 minutes 00 seconds .79.
Inboard.
Roger, inboard.
Right.
Downrange 660 miles, altitude 95 miles. 78% velocity required for orbit.
15 Houston, you have 15 Houston. Go ahead. Say again, 15.
Houston 15, we didn't call. You got something?
You've had PU shift and the thrust looks good.
Okay.
You've had level sense arm now.
Roger.
About 6 seconds to staging.
Stand by for mode 4 capability. Mark, you have mode 4 now.
Roger, in a good stage.
Roger.
Booster reports thrust okay on the S4B stage.
You have good thrust on the S4B.
Roger.
.960 miles downrange, 94.7 altitude, velocity 23,230.
15 Houston, everything's looking perfect. Predicted cutoff time 11 plus 37. Over.
Roger, 11 plus 37.
Miles downrange, 93.4 altitude, 97% of velocity, 98% of velocity required, 25,143 feet per second.
Okay, cutoff, 11 plus 34.
Roger.
Booster confirms the S4B has shut down.
Okay, Houston, gamma motors are off, and the S4B oxidizer is 40, and the fuel is about 31.
Roger, 40 and 31.
Okay, Gordo, we got ourselves in a 93.7 by 88.9. Shut down on a VI of plus 25595. H dot plus 00008. Altitude plus 00932.
Roger, out, copy. Uh, 15 Houston, IU shows you in a 92.5 by 91.5. Radar confirms that, and the booster is safe.
Okay, Gordo, good job. That was a very smooth ride all the way.
Roger. Houston, the booster is configured for orbit, over.
Roger.
We've had loss of signal through Bermuda. About a minute out of Canary Islands. To recap a moment, the measured orbital, here's a call now to the crew.
Roger, you're loud and clear.
Okay, the S4B tank pressure is about 41 on the oxidizer and about 21 on the fuel.
Roger, 41 and 21.
Apollo 15 in a 92.5 by 91.5 nautical mile Earth orbit, 1 mile out of perfectly circular. Communications through the Canary Island tracking station for about 4 minutes and 11 seconds total pass time. Coming up on loss of signal through Canaries.
Houston, about 35 seconds to LOS, and we have nothing further for you. We'll see you at Carnarvon as shown in the checklist at 5-2. Over.
Okay, Carnarvon at 5-2.
Flight Dynamics officer reports that the data coming from the Canary Islands tracking station confirms the initial measurements of the Earth parking orbit, and we're expecting to acquire Apollo 15 again over the Carnarvon Australia tracking station at 52 minutes ground elapsed time, about 30 minutes from now. And at 22 minutes 13 seconds. Ground elapsed time, this is Apollo Control.
Shuttle Commander Mark Kelly assisting.
Endeavor on the big loop for